Sweet children, may you be soul conscious. Continue to practice this whilst walking and moving around, and you'll continue to make a great deal of progress. Continue to practice this, soul consciousness, while walking and moving around, and you'll continue to make a great deal of progress. Question: which children's intellects will be able to have accurate remembrance of the Father? What is accurate remembrance of the Father? Which children's intellects are able to have accurate remembrance of the Father? Of course, accurate remembrance of the Father is based on all the things he said about remembrance in the Murli. But from that, those directions, instructions, explanations, then you go have an experience. There's a whole lot more added to your accuracy because of understanding the pure feelings that are required for you to have accurate remembrance. So it's understanding, methodology, and its capacity for pure feelings. Answer. Sorry, the children who have recognized the Father accurately. Which children's intellects will be able to have accurate remembrance? The children who have recognized the Father accurately. Recognition. Everything based on recognition. Your bhakti sanskars are leftover feelings and understandings based on last cycle's recognition of God. Some children ask, how is it possible to remember a point? Right? How can you say, oh, I don't have feelings, I don't experience feelings? No, you're having feelings, you're just lazy. You have feelings. Why? How do we know you've had at least one feeling? You heard the knowledge and you felt something. How many of you heard the knowledge and felt something? So clearly you're having feelings. Now you need to learn how to concentrate them and repeat them over and over again to make them consistent. And that's effort. Some children ask, how is it possible to remember a tiny point? A point. On the path of devotion, people have been remembering him, considering him to be an eternal, infinite light, unending light. Why? Because they're confusing the experience of the experience of yoga with the unlimitedness of your own experience of yourself when you're in yoga. So you feel so unlimited, as if your light is everywhere, that you can see and perceive and feel everything. I shared an experience once with you guys about how I was in such a stage. I felt like I could know anything, feel anything in the entire universe. How's that possible? It's not really possible. It was a very deep feeling because how elevated my consciousness was, it was beyond limit. I didn't have a lot of those experiences, but I've had them. And therefore, I understood what he meant by, that's why they get confused and they inadvertently make me omnipresent instead of realizing they have to concentrate on me more. And then, of course, you have to concentrate on a point. Now, when you say that he is a point of light, they become confused because in their mind, it contradicts their experience of going outward, being unlimited. No, you have to concentrate on total purity. And then all the illusion of body consciousness that is weakening your awareness of your unlimited virtue and power disappears. And you can feel your unlimited virtue and power. So therefore, you think you're just the ocean of light at that point. So this is the general rule, even in physics. Concentration on a point, and then suddenly the point expands into unlimited expansion. And that's what goes on in the physical universe. Only when you realize that he is an extremely subtle point can you have accurate remembrance. Om Shanti. All of you children are sitting in remembrance. Man Manabhav. That's to remember Baba. In fact, this is not a Sanskrit term. When the Father taught you Easy Raj Yoga, he didn't use Sanskrit words. This one doesn't even know Sanskrit. Brahma Baba. Oh, Brahma Baba doesn't know Sanskrit. Look at that. The Father only explains in Hindi. Good. I remarked that because it's good to write down the amount of things that Brahma Baba doesn't know. He knows an awful lot. but obviously he doesn't know everything. The Father only explains in Hindi, although this chariot knows Hindi, Sindhi, and English. The Father still only explains in Hindi. Whatever religion people belong to, they have their own language. Here, only the Hindi language is used. It isn't easy to understand this language. This school is so wonderful. There's no need for any paper or pencil here. Yeah, you're writing into your journal of sanskars with the pen of your intellect, right? You're writing into the journal of your sanskars, which is via the mind, with the pen of your intellect. Here, you just have to remember one word, that is, remember the Father. It is difficult for everyone not to remember God, Ishwar, or the Supreme Father. It's difficult. You got to try really hard to completely block yourself off from any awareness of God. Welcome to atheism. Everyone remembers him, but they don't have any recognition of him. So because of no lack of recognition, there's eventually lack of experience. Due to lack of experience, significance of remembrance disappears, and eventually the significance of God disappears. The Father comes and gives the recognition of himself. The Father comes and explains about the long duration of the cycle in the scriptures. So that's what happens with omnipresence, right? And the same reason he said, remember me the point. Don't remember the home. Don't remember the home without remembering me the point, the Supreme Soul there. Because you diminish the significance of the remembrance. It's like when you take an anomalous point that doesn't fit the data, and then you stretch out time and add 5,000 other points of data, that point becomes insignificant. That's what omnipresence does. That's what meditating on the home does to you, the soul, to the mind, intellect, subconscious. It dissipates, the complete opposite of concentrate. The Father comes and explains about the long duration of the cycle in the scriptures. This is not a big thing. What would old mothers and those with stone intellects be able to understand? This is very easy. Even small children can understand this. The word Baba is not a new word. When people go to the Shiva temple, it enters their intellect that it is Shiv Baba and that he is incorporeal. All human beings say Baba. All human beings say Baba. The Father of all of us souls is one. All souls of the beings who reside in the bodies remember the Father. Those of all religions definitely remember the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul. He is the Father who resides in the Supreme Region. We are also residents of that place. We're also residents of that place. We now just have to remember the Father. People want to become pure. They even call out, "Oh, purifier, come." The new world was pure, and it has now become old. No one would call it new anymore. The people of Bharat know that the deities used to rule in New Bharat. What was there before Bharat? The confluence age. There is an even easier answer than that. Before becoming new, it was an old world. Before Bharat became new, it was an old world. People are not able to understand about the confluence age that easily. The period between the old world and the new world is called the confluence age. It is the Father, it is up to the Father that they say, "Oh, purifier, come. Come and purify us." No, we don't say those literal words, but in Christianity, we invoke Christ, right? That's what prayer does. It's supposed to invoke Jesus. We have become impure. No one calls out in the new world. It has now entered the intellects that Bharat was pure. Oh, purifier, come. People have been calling out in this way for a long time. They don't know when the impure world will end. They say that it is written in the scriptures that it will remain impure for another 40,000 years. They are in total darkness. That's what they believe in Hinduism. You are now in the light. The Father has now brought you into the light. This world cycle comes to an end after 5,000 years. It is a matter of only yesterday when you used to rule the kingdom. It truly was the kingdom of Lakshmi Narayan. It was heaven. There cannot be any calamities, etc., in the pure world. Only in the kingdom of Ravan are there calamities. The Father's explaining to you here and you are listening to him personally with your ears. Who is listening? Souls. You souls are very happy that you have once again found the Father. Yeah. This is the power of recognition that is required to begin to empower your faith. In between recognition and faith is a word called belief. You first got to start to believe. You souls are very happy that you have found once again. Oh, don't stop believing. You souls are very happy that you once again found the Father. You received your inheritance from the Father. He now says, remember me. This does not require any reading or writing. When someone comes, he is asked, why have you come here? Some reply that they have come in order to meet the Mahatma, Mahatma Brahma. There's no Mahatma Brahma. Why? What do you want? Tell me. Do you want some alms? If he were a sannyasi, he would say, I want
Some bread.
I want a chapati.
Oh.
People go to meet sannyasis, and if they come across them in their way, those religious people would feel that because they are pure, it would be good for you to feed them. There isn't even that kind of purity now where they even feel that they should feed these gurus and sannyasis. Why? Because the gurus have millions now, many of them. So they traded in their purity for wealth, and therefore they left the jungle. This world is completely tamopradana, and there is a lot of rubbish in this world. People are so distressed. There's no question of being distressed here. Everyone's distressed, but Brahmins are not supposed to be distressed. Why should you be distressed? What do you have to be distressed over? Distress is always connected to fear. There's no need to write anything. The points that you write down here are for you to imbibe. Doctors, too, have so many medicines. They are able to remember all of those medicines. A barrister is able to keep so many points of law in his intellect. What do you have to remember? Just one thing. And that, too, is very easy. What's that one thing you just say? What do you say? You say, just remember one Shiv Baba alone. Some people ask, how would Shiv Baba come? No one apart from you knows these things, how it is God comes. Where is God? They either say that he is beyond name and form or that he is omnipresent. There's a difference of day and night between these two expressions. There is nothing that is beyond name or form. And he's definitely not omnipresent. Then they say that God is in the cats and dogs, etc. The two are completely opposite ideas because you're diminishing, dispersing the significance of a point of concentration of power and turning it into something ordinary because you're not having any experience of extraordinary. You're in an ordinary consciousness, so you turn everything extraordinary into ordinary. Father gives his own introduction and says, remember me, your father. Easy Raj Yoga is remembered. Baba says, remove the word yoga. It's just remembrance. Easy Raj remembrance. Just remember me. A small child will instantly go and hug his parents when he sees them. Would he first think about who is mom and dad? What's the title of my father's job? No, he's mom and dad. So call it remembrance. Don't call it yoga. No, you simply have to remember Shiv Baba. You've been offering flowers to Shiva on the path of devotion. Why is there no need to go into all that intellectually? Because you know your mother and father. Everyone knows their mother and father. The Somnath temple was so grand. Mahmud Ghaznavi came and looted it later on. The Somnath temple is very famous in Bharat. Somnath temple is where the Kohinoor diamond, the crown jewels of England, is made from Kohinoor diamond. They were stolen from the Somnath temple. When the Muslims invaded, and then when the Brits invaded the Muslims, they took the Somnath temple diamond. All of this knowledge is now in the intellects of you children, although you used to worship them. Although you used to worship them, of the deities, you did not know that all those images are non-living. You treated them as if you were talking to the deities. Shiv Baba must definitely have come in a living form. That is why people celebrate his birthday every year. They also say that Shiva, the Supreme Soul, is incorporeal. A soul knows that he too is incorporeal. You might not remember all this detail of knowledge, But if you truly were absorbing and having experiences in yoga of yoga with Baba, deep remembrance, you will always, even in your last birth, still be talking to Baba as if he is someone, concentrate your mind on something, not like you would be talking to, he's everywhere. Because you have a feeling inside that you have to focus on him. Why? Because you've been doing that many, many times in the cycle. Even in bhakti, they know to focus. But then they go and say he's omnipresent. It's so stupid. They also say that Shiva, the Supreme Soul, is incorporeal. A soul knows that he too is incorporeal. You are now becoming soul conscious. So you have to remember you're incorporeal because you forget when you look at your body, use your body. It's very easy. He is our Father. He's the ocean of knowledge, the ocean of happiness, and the purifier. There's a lot of praise of him. So much praise of God exists. And so he always says, well, why do they have so much praise for God? He must have done something. There isn't as much praise of Brahma, Vishnu, or Shankar. People sing praise of only the one, capital O. You children now know that Baba has come and is giving us our inheritance. A physical father would provide everything for his children, but he doesn't teach them. Children go to school in order to study, and then in their age of retirement, they go and adopt a guru to study all the things they need for the ending of their life and the beginning of their next life. Nowadays, they even make young children adopt gurus. Here, you children are told to remember Shiv Baba. Everyone has a right to remember Shiv Baba because all are my children. So you have a right to remember me, he says. There are also some amongst you who remember me very well. Some ask, Baba, whom should we remember? How can we remember a point? Something big can be remembered. Acha, who is the Supreme Soul whom you have been remembering? They say that he is an eternal, infinite light. However, he is not like that. It is wrong to remember an infinite light. Wrong technique. There has to be accurate remembrance, but you first have to know him accurately. Father comes and gives his own introduction. So the more you perfect this experience of concentrating on a point and remembering the point with your heart, you'll start to have experiences. And then once you start having experiences, it's crystal clear to you that, oh, he must be a point because I remembered a point and I had an experience. It's like when you look at someone and they acknowledge you in a conversation, you know you've just had a conversation with someone. You know from the experience of conversing. What were you doing? I was focusing on their form. That's why you got to remember him in that form. The Father comes and gives his own instruction. He then also gives you children the information of the beginning, middle, and end of the whole creation in detail and in a nutshell. The Father now says, children, if you want to become pure, there's just one solution.
Remembrance.
Remember me. Only I am called the purifier. So if you remember the one who purifies, you'll be purified. Souls have to be made pure. This soul says that he has become impure, Brahma Baba. I was pure and I have now become impure. Imagine Brahma Baba is saying that in public. And yet you can't even get Brahmins to give their true chart. Here, Brahma Baba saying, I'm impure. Right? All are Tamo Pradhan. Everything is at first Sattva Pradhan, and then they become Tamo Pradhan. A soul understands for himself that he has become impure and wants to be purified. There is just one, there is no one impure in the land of peace. Here, all are impure, and so they are unhappy. Why are they impure here, but not in the land of peace? Because of being in impure bodies and performing impure actions. When they were pure, they were happy. Soul say, purify us so that we can be liberated from sorrow. A soul understands for himself that he's become impure and wants to be purified. There is no, he said that. When they were pure, they were happy. Souls say, purify us so we can be liberated from sorrow. They understand the connection between sorrow and impurity. So that's why, all these points, if you churn them, you come up with other points. And the other point obviously is no point taking on other people's moments of sorrow, points of sorrow, right? You don't have yoga. You don't feel sorry. You don't empathize with people's sorrow. Purify us so that we can be liberated from sorrow. You understand that it is souls who do everything. When they were pure, they were happy, the souls. Here, all are impure, and so they are unhappy. A soul understands for himself that he has become impure and wants to be purified. There is no one impure in the land of peace. A soul becomes a judge or a barrister. A soul says, I am a king, I am so-and-so. I am a king, I am so-and-so. I now have to shed this body and take another. This is called, just talking to yourself like this is called being soul conscious. Whilst being soul conscious was being in a body. In the kingdom of Ravan, they are body conscious. It is only now that the Father makes you soul conscious. In the kingdom of Ravan, they are body conscious. It is only now that the Father makes you soul conscious. At this time, souls are impure and unhappy. They therefore call out to the Father, "Oh, Baba, come." You know that you have continued to become pure from impure and impure from pure, according to the drama plan, and you could add countless times. The cycle continues to turn. How you have taken 84 births is now in your intellects. So now don't forget this. Don't forget the cycle. Remains Sudarshan Chakradari. You have all of this knowledge in your intellects as you sit, walk, and move around. You understand that we are claiming our unlimited inheritance from being the unlimited Father. So when looking out at the world of matter at every second, you're being Sudarshan Chakradari to understand the significance of something within the whole realm of 5,000 year cycle. Okay? But in order to become pure, you have to remember total purity, Shiva. So become pure, you have remembrance. To understand the significance of something so that you could value it and know how much value to give something. You don't give the same value to everything. Then you spin the cycle of self-realization, right? Spinning it. The Father explains to your children that you only have to remember the one Father. So Baba says, all you need to do is remember the Father and eat what he said earlier.
One chapati.
I said it was something he said earlier, but in a different context. He was talking about sannyasis. That's all. It's not rocket science. The Father repeatedly tells you, sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children. Children, all the stomach needs is one chapati. So that's an important point. He said it 3 times now. All you need is one chapati. Don't get too obsessed about filling your tummy. The stomach doesn't need much. Speaking from the perspective of them having gone through the bakery days and starved almost most days, the body doesn't need much. All it needs is 1 ounce of flour, dal and a roti. That's all. 1 ounce of flour. Wow.
1 ounce of flour will
I wonder how many
chapati.
how many chapatis can you make with 1 ounce of flour? Just one. A person can feed himself with just 10 rupees. A person can feed himself with 10,000 rupees. We're probably closer to 10,000 rupees. What do poor people eat? Yet they remain so strong and healthy. When people eat many different things, they fall ill even more. Even doctors advise you to eat one type of food so that you don't fall ill. Therefore, the Father also explains then,
Eat 1 chapati.
just eat 1 chapati. Remain happy in with whatever you receive. With whatever you receive. There's nothing like dal and roti. There mustn't be too much greed either. What do sannyasis do? They leave their homes and families and they go away into the jungle. They consider the element of light to be God. They remember that and they think they will merge into the Brahm element. That is the sole purpose for a sannyasi. It's supposed to be in the old days anyway. However, it's not like that. Souls are immortal. There's no question of souls merging. It is souls who become pure as well as impure. You have received such good knowledge. So you cannot merge when you're impure. So you have to merge when you're pure, but you can't be pure until you remember Baba. And you can't remember Baba until Baba comes and explains to you how to remember Baba. You experience reward, forget this knowledge. You then have to come down the ladder. Your intellects now all have the knowledge of how you experience 84 births. No one's part can come to an end. This drama is predestined. It continues to turn. You cannot ask when or how or where God created this drama. It just continues
Nothing else.
Really,
To
all
turn.
the time. Continues all the time. Even when you're in the soul world, drama continues all the time with the ones down on earth. The history and geography of the world repeat. No one understands these things. You know that you have come here according to the drama plan. You're once again claiming your kingdom according to the drama. No one else can understand these things. It is asked, is the drama the Almighty Authority or is the Father the Almighty Authority? That's how they should have written it. They say that God is the Almighty Authority. They feel that He can do everything. The Father says, I too am bound by the drama. I have to come here to purify the impure. I have to come here to purify the impure. You become happy in the golden age. I go and rest in the supreme region when you're in the golden age. You climb onto my head. Such funny expressions he uses. You climb onto my head, and then you ride a lion in the golden age. So, like a kid, you climb up, you're on my shoulders, you're on my head. I make you the highest. I put you ahead of myself. And then you'll forever ride a lion in the golden age. Meaning powerful, royal, right? Dignified. You understand whatever happens second by second is fixed in the drama. You children have very good knowledge. You simply now have to remember the Father and the inheritance. That's all. There's no need for any paper or pencils. Even Brahma Baba is studying, yet he doesn't keep anything. Even Brahma Baba is studying, but he doesn't keep anything. He doesn't keep all his books and pen papers. Right? He doesn't write down anything. You just have to remember the Father and you will receive your inheritance. It's so easy. So you don't have to keep a notebook. But why we tell you to keep a notebook and why you should do it until we tell you you don't need to, or if you figure out you don't need to. Clearly, you guys are learning a whole bunch of things you haven't even thought of or churned or applied, even have experience of. So as long as that's the case, it means you're not studying enough. So the reason you write stuff down is because you're forgetful. Writing it will make you forget less. You'll remember longer. And writing it allows you a chance to revise what it was you were supposed to remember the first time that you forgot. So that's why you keep a notebook. After you have demonstrated, okay, now let me ask this one. When or what do you have to demonstrate? So you don't need to have a notebook and a pen. Otherwise, presume you need to have a notebook and a pen.
You can explain the full Murli afterwards.
You can remember the points of the Murli and you can explain, add more value to those points. If you can do that with the Murli, you don't need to write it down. Most of you can't, so you should write it down. If you got a bad memory, you should write it down. And I knew that even when I was taking notes. And here I was ferociously typing away on my tiny little laptop. I had a thin laptop like this. It was about 8x9. So I could take it with me anytime. It wasn't heavy. And I would have my Murli formatted already. I'd have formats of both Sakar and Avyat. And I'd bring it up, make a copy of it, bring it up. And I'd just be ferociously typing every word I had. One, it made me become a decent typist. But mostly, I was hearing it, I was concentrating it, I was typing it and reading it as I was typing it. You're going to remember Murli points way deeper if you do that. Understand? Because you're concentrating on it. And I kept doing that until I knew so many points. I'd hear the beginning of the point. I type out the sentence of the Murli point before she'd finished saying the Murli point because I knew what it was. Right? You just have to remember the Father and you will receive your inheritance. It is so easy. By having remembrance, you become ever healthy. This is a matter of imbibing. What would be the benefit of writing it down? So, of course, that's not an eternal relationship with knowledge. That's temporary. But you use this temporary method to get the knowledge so ground into you that you don't need to write it down anymore. Now it's eternal. It's in your sanskars. All of it is going to be destroyed. However, some write down the points in order to help remember them. That's also a level of consciousness. Well, even that's better than forgetting the points. When someone has to remember something, he ties a knot, right? So the more knots you tie, the less knots you'll do. N-O-T. You should also tie a knot, K-N-O-T, for you to remember Shiv Baba and the inheritance. This is very easy. Yoga means remembrance. Some say, Baba, I cannot stay in remembrance. Oh, but you're able to remember your worldly father while sitting, walking around. You remember your job. You remember your body. You remember your kids. You can remember all those things. You can't remember your own father. The only reason you can't remember your father is because you don't consider him to be your father. That's what it means. You also just have to stay in remembrance. That's all. And then your boat will go across. Acha, to you sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, father, Bapdada. The spiritual father says namaste to you, spiritual children. And
The spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father.
essence for Dharma. Number one, become a spinner of this, become a Swadarshan Chakradari and continue to turn the cycle of 84 births around in your intellect. Remember the unlimited father and claim your unlimited inheritance. Become pure. 2, don't be greedy for anything. Remain happy with whatever you receive. Don't ask, don't beg, don't whine. Just eat a chapati today and stay in remembrance of the Father. Blessing. May you be constantly victorious by knowing the secrets of everyone's heart and pleasing them. In order to be victorious, know the secrets of each one's heart. You got to be able to read the heart of a soul, feel the pulse, read their heart. Because the words don't always reflect what the heart is actually trying to communicate. So you have to become an expert at reading the heart. By listening to the sounds emerging from everyone's lips, you can know the secrets of his or her heart and become victorious. Just listen to the sound, not the words. Tone, intonation, juxtaposition, cadence, right? However, in order to know the secrets of someone's heart, you need introversion. To the extent that you are introverted, you will accordingly be able to know the secrets of their hearts and be able to please them. Slogan. Disinterest is such a fertile land that whatever you plant there will definitely be fruitful. Disinterest turns the desert into a garden, right? When something doesn't grow, it's parched, it's dry, it's a desert. But he said, if you have disinterest, you'll make it a fertile land and fruit will grow, right? Just because of disinterest. So obviously then disinterest can turn infertile desert land into fertile land, right? Om Shanti. Abhyat signal, in order for your zeal and enthusiasm to remain constant, in order for your zeal and enthusiasm to remain constant, whoever comes into relationship with you, whether they are students or companions, let there be the enthusiasm to make everyone, you should have this enthusiasm to make everyone content.
Yeah.
So whether the students or companions, for your enthusiasm to remain constant, whoever you meet comes in contact with you, let there be enthusiasm to make them content. Enthusiasm, you got to think about it. You go, oh, here's our chance, let's make them content. Okay? Which is not the same thing as people pleasing, because that's taking. But to create happiness, give them happiness. By taking the power of everyone's virtues, your enthusiasm will constantly remain. The power of their virtues, not steal energy from them, but take the example of their virtue. Your enthusiasm will constantly remain because you're seeing and experiencing their virtue reflecting the capacity of your own virtue. Be one who picks up virtues. Value their virtue. And obviously you would have had to have immersed them first in yourself. See, but do not see. You should not see,
Defects.
but you should also
See them.
see them. It's very easy to understand the intention of that. If you don't see them, how are you going to stop from imbibing them, affected by them? You didn't see it coming. But so you have to see them, but not dwell on them, not be impacted by them. That's seeing, but not seeing.